Welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the Paddock podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Manchester United's defence. Wow. Perhaps the defence of United's defence. Who knows? We'll get into that.
Fucking doubt it.
Yeah, it's not looking great at the minute, is it? No. United's defence has been
indefensible.
Indefensible.
I'm out.
Terrible.
Great stuff. Like that, yeah.
What do you make of United's defence this season so far, Jay? As a starting point, before we move on with this, I'll call it a debate.
It's not a debate, it's a podcast.
I quite like it. I think it could be better, though. Right, before you start giving me dirty looks, yeah, we've obviously got issues defensively. And I think you look at the most sort of prominent one in the minute is at centre-back. Everyone's talking about Victor Lindelof. Everyone's talking about whether Harry Maguire is good enough and worth all the money we paid for him. And people seem to be less angry about the full-backs, certainly on the left-back position. I know we'll get into that later. Although Aaron Wan-Bissaka going forward, there's still a lot of question marks. But it seems to be the centre-back where everyone's talking about the most and people are looking for reinforcements the most. People, seem to have a meltdown when Dale Upamecano was announced to go to Bayern Munich. People now saying, we've got to get in Canate.
I can't believe there was a meltdown.
I can't believe he chose to go to Bayern Munich over Manchester United.
But I can't believe people didn't think that. I mean, as soon as I've been standing outside Old Trafford giving things 1 out of 10 for months now. And as soon as I heard Bayern Munich, I was in for him. I was like, well,
that's game over.
That's that then.
Yeah.
Why are we even talking about this?
What have they won? 6 trophies this year. Literally everything they had available to them, they won.
That's wild.
It is a joke, though, the way they just do that every season, isn't it? Like, who's the best player in our league we haven't got? Right, let's just go and get him.
Yeah.
That's like, but to be fair, United used to do that, and now we don't do that.
No, we don't. I think the centre-back is the main issue. Left-back, I'm not too concerned about. Right-back, I still like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I still think we could do with a backup option, whether that's Brandon Williams or we bring someone like Max Aarons or Kieran Trippier or whoever in. But I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a good defender.
Well, let's go with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We'll come to the goal. We'll do the goal as well because although we spoke about him a bit, Steve. Start with Aaron Wan-Bissaka then, who at the start of his United career could almost do no wrong. It was he was such a breath of fresh air from Ashley Young and from other people we'd had.
Maguire. You remember 6 months ago, this United team was breaking records.
Yeah.
In terms of clean sheets, in terms of goals conceded, it was like being literally touted as like the best in the 5 leagues in Europe. What's fundamentally changed, I think at first we saw the impact of that on Harry Maguire first, I think. And I think it sort of spread to the rest of the team to the point now where we've conceded like more than any other team in the top 10, which is ludicrous.
Terrible.
And can't keep a clean sheet for Toffee. I imagine it's not purely down to the individuals, like all of them are having a shit season. It's unlikely that that's the case. And it's the same going forward. Like, is it unlikely that all of them going forward are having a shit season? Because you got to look at last season, the 3 forwards we had all bagged 20 goals-ish.
Yeah.
Right? And then the defence was belting. So what's changed in both of those things? Well, for me, the fundamental thing that's changed, and I hope it wasn't Muppets Online that changed this. I hope that this was a decision that they wanted rather than a reaction to idiots online. The only thing that's massively changed is we are now holding possession more so than we've ever done under Ollie. And I think we maybe weren't the team to be a possession-based team just yet. I think that midfield, when Pogba and Bruno are playing, I think most people would agree it's pretty much good enough to do that. Maybe that number 6 position is still up for debate in a big way. But we all was pretty confident that forward line could do it. Now, when you're a counter-attacking side, having 3 speed demons in Marshall, in Mason Greenwood and Rashford, that can be quite effective. When you're a team that's got to maybe hold the ball a little bit more, you need a little bit more guile in the final third. You can understand why Cavani was wanted. But there's other things that are coming into play now. You're holding possession, and it's put a bit of a strain on the entire team. And I think in the evolution of football teams, you see a lot of, like, you get one thing right, it breaks something else.
Yeah.
Something that you had nailed. Like, just before Fergie won his first title, United had gone from being very, very leaky, then he went to being very, very boring, 1-0s, and like, because he'd fixed that, but when you fix that, you clip your wings going forward a little bit. And we'd had sort of, coming into like 91, 92, which was a great year, we had the sort of the team was making sense. The team was very solid, and the team had good level of experience, a little bit of a blend of youth, some exciting players, but it missed an X factor. And the X factor that came in was Cantona. That was a team that would grind out 1-0s all day long. And unfortunately, sometimes those 1-0s were 0-0s when you come up against a particularly resolute side. Cantona came in, pushed us over the line. You've seen at different stages in different eras, prior to that record-breaking run we went on, winning 3 titles in the latter noughties, Michael Carrick was the jigsaw piece that knitted Rooney and Ronaldo and Rio and Vidic and Evra together. And I remember the fume at the time. I'm sure you remember the fume at the time
number
as well.
16 and all
you've
that.
given him number 16. This fucking crab.
Even the price, wasn't it? 18 million. 18 million.
When that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Same we paid for Van Nistelrooy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're paying it on some lad you've never heard from Tottenham.
And it can be a weird thing which galvanises the team or literally flicks the switch. It's very simplistic to say Liverpool was shite before they got Van Dijk and Alisson. But those were the things that pushed them over the edge from being an inconsistent side, capable of beating anybody on the day, which I would say United probably are in that kind of realm, if not quite there yet. It was a weird thing that pushed us over the edge. And I think the defence is the thing that's costing us at the moment, because we've got players who are scoring goals. We're not creating a shitload of chances, I would argue. I think we've still...
Certainly not last night.
I don't think we're creating a ton of chances and missing them. And people will go, oh, yeah, we are, but we're not, though. We're not. You're not seeing all of our forwards have 3-4 chances a game. That's when you're creating plenty of chances. We're not doing that. But it feels like, and it might be the case, and it could be argued some of them semi-finals were the case, where the defence has seen us drop points. So that's a very big focus for fans at the moment. And it might be also be argued that when Solskjaer signed Wan-Bissaka and Maguire, what he wanted is different to what we are, or the stage in our evolution that we are at the moment. Unfortunately, he spent 130 million on them, and you're going to be stuck with them for a long time.
So do you think, I'll ask you this, Jay, do you think then that those signings were either mistakes or signings that need an update in terms of either the way they play or just maybe having another option at right back who is a bit more adept going forward? Or do you think it's up to them to kind of adapt to the way the United play now and they're good enough players that they can do that? Or do you think that maybe we either need to change another, a further time where we can have a bit more solidity at the back and going forward? Or do we think that those players just aren't going to be able to do that?
No, I mean, I always look at a signing and go, if you could go back in time, would you make that signing? And I would make those signings again. I think Adam Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire are good signings. And I know people may look at them and go, they've got faults, and Harry Maguire's not worth 80 million. And
Only the price, I think, is the
but
major issue.
But if you had to pay 80 million, if that was your only option, you either get him or you don't, I'd do it. I think Harry Maguire has been a good signing. I think, yes, we can do with improvements. I think we've spoken about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I know he's got a couple of goals this season, but going forward, there's been question marks about him. I think he can improve on that. I've seen little signs here and there. I think he just needs to find a bit of consistency with that. But I think it would help to bring in not people to replace him, but backup, whether that's from the youth or whether that is, a couple of signings. People forget that, you look at Pep, and I don't want to keep saying it, but City are top for a reason. Pep can go out and get a John Stones and get a Laporte and then still get a Diaz. And who's the other lad from Bournemouth? Nathan Ake. And no one bats an eyelid.
No.
All he gets, Maguire, that's your lot. No, you can't buy any more centre-backs.
And not only is it, can you not buy any more?
Running.
Yeah, it's not that, it's not necessarily, well, I'm sure they are, but it's not necessarily that the owners are saying you can't buy any more. It's that us as fans, or not us as fans, but United's fans go, you had your chance at a centre-back, and he wasn't the best in the world. He didn't win us the Champions League and the Premier League back-to-back like Van Dijk did, so you're shit. Like, John Stones has barely played football for 2.5 years for Man City.
That's what I mean.
Like, he came in, was decent, then didn't play,
Then was shit.
for ages, and now he's back in the best defense in the league this season. Like, imagine, and he was 50 million. I know that's substantially less than 80 million, but this was also 5 years ago when they bought him. Imagine we'd have brought Maguire in, he'd done 1 year, then he was a bit part player for 2 years, only to come back in the third. Like, the liberties and the way that they are allowed to do business and allowed to play their players is so different to United. Like, even now it's like, well, why do we have to sign another centre-back? Wasn't Maguire meant to do all this? Wasn't Maguire meant to defend for everyone speak over everyone for every position, pull players into like.
Pep signed a
can't
keeper
do
that was
everything.
apparently going to revolutionise the Premier League,
Yes.
and fucked him off 12 months later for another revolution.
And wasn't that like a 30-odd million or something for Claudio Bravo?
He
It was
wasn't
a lot
a
money. I
risk.
don't know if it's 30-odd million.
He wasn't a risk. He
time.
knew him. He
Yeah.
played under him at Barcelona. Like it wasn't like, oh, Maguire looks decent, let's get him. It was, I know Claudio Bravo. I think I don't
Dropped Joe Hart for
Yeah.
him, who was a bit of a club legend at the time. I know
Yeah.
it might sound daft to say now, but he'd been there a while and won quite, a few trophies there.
It's a low-
Dropped him.
It's a low barrier for legends.
I know. Come on. Brought in, like you say. I remember the press and everything. It was like, oh, this is a new, different style and Barcelona style of play and all that sort of stuff. And then what happens? The derby was an absolute as a stinker, and that was more or less his City career, wasn't it? That summed it up. And then he goes out and buys Edison. Now, like we've said, all he gets Maguire. And it's like, well, why does he need a partner?
Yeah.
Why does he need to go out and buy a partner?
Why does he not need to play?
because the players that he's
every
playing,
game.
and also the players he's playing
Has he
against.
missed a game for United?
Yeah, he's missed a couple.
But that's even that. Me and you were speaking about this. That's an underrated trait because Eric Bailly is amazing, but how often does he play?
Yeah.
So it matters that if your defender is injured all the time,
Yeah.
and Harry Maguire is
Maguire's
always available.
a very, very convenient scapegoat. I don't think he's
he
been
is.
quite as bad as has been made out to be. But he is also indefensible at times. And I would say yesterday, going down, like we got a podcast out at 5 with Rio, and I asked him this, and Rio was in no uncertain terms as, you can't fucking do that.
What? Sorry, what?
Where he gets pushed out the way by their striker and
Can't do
De Gea has
it.
to
Oh,
bail
right,
him out.
sorry.
Personally,
So-
I think that was a foul, but at the same time, it doesnn't matter.
15 fucking stone,
Exactly.
Joe.
It doesn't matter
I
that
don't
it's a
give a
foul.
flying fuck. Like, did he look like he was fighting with his life to stay up?
Yeah,
I
no,
think
he
Rio
didn't.
said if he looks himself in the mirror this morning, he'll be well embarrassed.
What's Rio's sort of opinion on Harry Maguire? You talked to him a lot. Do you think he rates him? No. I mean, that's disappointing to hear because I rate Rio's opinion. I don't really want to hear that, but that's what it is. That's what it
There's
is.
some people in the podcast that go, Rio, you might have known a thing or two about defending. Maybe. I don't know. Back in the day, people were like, oh, Steve, you think you're fine?
Yeah.
I'd have a laugh. What I'm supposed to... Like, I can't imagine me saying it any other way. Like, oh, Rio, you was probably one of the fucking greatest defenders I've ever seen in my fucking... Like,
Top two for me.
someone like, get off your dick. Like, you can't do it, can you?
No.
We've got a super chat from Suram Bala. He says, hope you're doing well, lads. Maguire isn't the best, but I don't think he's terrible either. He often tries to cover for others, which backfires. You guys think we'll see the best of him once we sign that top centre-back? I think Maguire isn't the best centre-back in the world, but I think we've seen plenty of centre-backs a lot worse than him win titles and be in very good defences. I think he needs someone better next to him.
Yeah.
And no offence to Lindelof,
Take the armband off him too.
who I would keep in the club. I don't think there's no reason to get rid of Victor Lindelof. But him, Lindelof and Bailly and Smalling and Joe, I know they've won trophies in the past, but generally speaking, the team that Maguire came into, the centre-backs that are at Ollie's disposal when he came in, including Rojo in that, haven't exactly guided United to tons of trophies. It's not as though he was coming into a great defence and he's made it worse. He was coming into a terrible defence, made it substantially better, and now we've slipped again this
season. The style
season.
of players changed,
Yeah.
and his weaknesses have been exposed.
Yeah.
Which is why... I don't know if that was hindsight. You would go, we need a different defender than this a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Or did they buy the right thing at the right time? But we have evolved, and we need to have players that can evolve. I don't know who fixes it, but I do think, and it is very reductionist to say you just need someone who's a bit quick. No, you do, but you also have to fix some of the other shit going on as well. And I wouldn't have him as captain. I don't think his organisation skills are there. When I'm looking at Diaz, and I watch off the ball because it fascinates me, that stuff. And I see Diaz making micro adjustments to his game, and I see him looking along the line and making sure everyone else is doing stuff. When I look at United at the moment, I see fucking puppies chasing fucking bags in the wind. And
Do you not think that could harm him, though, Steve? I get where you're coming from. For me, Harry Maguire seems like someone who, at times, may even suffer for a little bit of confidence, and I wonder about taking the armband off him after a year is a sort of saying, you've not been good enough.
Yeah, and it might be. And that might come across as harsh, and it might come across... as a demotion,
Yeah.
but it fucking is.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, because that's my only concern with that. I get where you're coming from.
You can't sugarcoat it and
but
say,
I'm worried that
great.
could
I think
crumble
this
him.
entire fucking world's too fucking quick to... I was having this talk I mean, I was talking about a 2-year-old with my wife, like, but I was saying, like, far too often people are just fucking giving out praise for fucking nothing. It's about time people fucking work for their praise.
Yeah. If your daughter wants to be the captain of your household, she's got
fucking
her
Scott
work
in
rate
there.
has got to go.
Well, I'm the
Her
fucking
communication.
Yeah.
You call this a painting? What on earth is
what
this?
is that?
I went to the Louvre.
See,
You think Van Dijk could paint a better painting than that?
We was
Get out
actually
of here.
talking anecdotally about sports, and I've spoken to lots of different athletes. And Janine made a very good point, is you haven't spoken to any female athletes. And I was like, that's a great point. Because we was talking about whatever Blake goes into, she was like very much on the be supportive and praise. And I was like, no, fuck that shit. Like, you don't hammer them.
Yeah.
But you also don't sugarcoat everything for them as well. You got to be very real. Rio mentioned, like, he'd go and have a game of his life. There'd be scouts there all over him, stuff like that. And he'd be sitting in the car and be like, what do you reckon? So his dad would be like, well, the last 5 fucking minutes at West Ham with that, son.
It's like Ronaldo Browno. He said something similar, didn't he? He said he didn't get praised a lot. Even when he, obviously he got scouted by everyone and ended up at the Scousers. I mean...
I got 13 man of the matches consecutive once at under 16s.
Yeah.
Never had a good game according to me, old man. And I think there's something in that. If you've got... Depends on your personality. If you're the kind of person that would fold... It's not going to necessarily work, is it? Yeah. But I think if you've got a bit of a fuck you sort of personality, I do think it does drive you a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. My dad was very like that, like, hammered you. So I've tried to be the other way around with my son. He's only 5.
Is it United yet? There you fucking go, Jay. Call him a little go and be like, that's not going to fucking pay the bills in this house, son.
Can I just stop you there, guys, for a second?
Please do. Before I get in trouble.
Before Jay insults too many children. The spot for this podcast today is brought to you by Manscaped and their new refined cologne.
Delicious, Joe.
It's a delicious cologne. And you won't mind me saying this. You stink, Jay. You would agree with that, wouldn't you? You have problems with your body odour. You walk into the office and generally we leave.
I thought we weren't going to do this on camera.
Well, now I can fix that for you because Manscaped, we all know about the Perfect Package 3.0 with the lawnmower.
Yep.
They've got the ball technology. They've got the Reviver, the Crop Reviver. They've got all sorts of scents, and they've got Linctus and lotions and potions to make sure that your crown jewels, you could eat your dinner off them, Jay. But now they also bring a quite delicious cologne. It's called Refined. It comes in a lovely glass bottle with a lovely wooden top. And let me tell you this, Steve, it's calming, it's inviting, it uses all the signature fragrances that we know and love from Manscaped. It's dye-free, cruelty-free, paraben-free, and 100% vegan. So, you know what, Steve? You were trying to be vegan for a little while, weren't you? No. And you can still use this.
That was the shortest afternoon ever.
Yeah, it was. You had a salad by accident once. Steve, you going vegan? No. I thought it were fruit salad. They're sweet. All you have to do is go to manscaped.com and use the code DEVILS20 to get 20% off and free shipping. And make sure you check out the Refined Cologne because it's absolutely delicious. It's time to feel sexy, guys. Is there anything wrong with that?
I like the lid. I like the wooden lid.
Pure wood, that.
Yeah.
Got
Classy.
wood?
Classy.
You have now.
Hey?
Manscaped.com /Devils20. Well, code Devils20. That's DEVILS20. Devils20 at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping.
Smell that.
Is anyone convinced with it being vegan? Is that an actual selling point?
Well, it's also hypoallergenic
in this day and age,
as well.
Right, it is.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, mate, come on. You know the dance.
Yeah, get your grooming on point and finish it off with Refined Cologne. Absolutely delicious. Thank you very much to Manscaped for supporting the podcast.
Owen's new collaboration?
What we got? What are we talking?
Has he collaborated with Red Bull?
No.
Someone, I don't know.
Oh.
I sent it you and all.
Oh, the denim thing. Oh, sorry, yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, dear.
Thoughts?
I like it. I wish I had a denim sponsor.
Of course you fucking do.
Well, don't you like it?
You're a double denim donut, aren't you? That's your
Double denim donut, I've just told everyone how stinky you are.
I censored
say it
myself
again if
there.
I
I
have
was
to.
going to use something a lot harsher than that.
DIC?
But it's still school run time, even though schools aren't open. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've got a super chat from
Not
Stephen
make them
S.
sit in the car for half an hour.
Yeah.
Just to replicate it.
Get your uniform on.
See-
We're going.
You need to fix up, Jay.
I know. I'm being too soft, me, aren't I?
If we had a
Story of my
defender,
life.
according to Stephen S., and a keeper that could organise the team and had the mentality to attack when the ball, attack the ball when it's being crossed, we would improve greatly.
That's a good point, that, about
Yeah.
goalkeepers.
Yes,
Or
get into that.
the
Let's talk about
goalkeeper.
goalkeepers.
Because we've been quick to sort of criticise Maguire for his organisational skills or lack of them, leadership and things like that. Yet, all the great United teams have had a keeper that's been vocal, has been organised, has organised, has been able to work very well with his centre backs.
De Gea ain't changing now, man. He's nearly 30.
That's a fair comment, but then is Dean Henderson the answer because he seems to have a bit more of a mouth in his head?
And I wonder if what the reasons why is it out there yet? Why Bailly was out?
Is it out there?
Don't think so.
You
I've not
sound
heard
like
it.
you've got some sort of
What you
inside
got?
information.
Right.
Yes, it is, Steve. So you can tell everyone.
Are you aware of the reasons why Bailly might have been out?
For the last couple of weeks. Yeah. I'm not aware of it.
Right, okay, so comment what you think it is, and if it's out there, and I'm not going to put it out there, if it's already out there in the comments, I'll say it. Well, maybe I will, but let's get a couple of comments.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for...
If the rumours are out there, it's not me that said it.
Is that what we're seeing on the screen? Is that correct?
Car crash, correct. Right, yeah, so that's true.
Okay.
Right, so it's actually true that he crashed his car.
Right.
He's a fucking loony.
I told you when I saw him, didn't I, on the roundabout in the traffic, when he... I told you, when he drove, outside Old Trafford, it was all round, traffic after the game. Can't move near the back of the Trafford Park end. Traffic gridlocks around the roundabout there near Wincanton.
I think the comments have got it.
Yeah. And then next thing you saw, this big Range Rover just goes over the middle of the traffic island. And as it drives over, I look up and there's Eric Bailly sat in it.
Is either going to be Eric Bailly or the 80?
Yeah.
Listening to Shakira, Hips Don't Lie.
Just bouncing on the steering wheel flying everywhere. I'd love that. I'd love to be in the car with Eric Bailly. I bet the music was so loud as well, just going for it. We've got a super chat from
he gets pulled over and goes, what?
Yeah, what? I like the little assault course on the road there.
Great feature.
Yeah. Fine Steve's comment about Maguire not being great at organising interesting. I agree with him, but considering this, would we rather go for a young, promising centre-back or someone who is established and commanding? That's from Siran Bala, which is a good question because the two of the people United have been linked with are Sergio Ramos and either Koundé or Konate, depending, both of them, but both young French centre-backs.
Yeah, or Varane.
Well, Varane, who's somewhere in the middle, though, isn't he? He's 27, he's won a lot more. But
I don't think
Ramos
Varane's
is...
very commanding.
No, and Ramos is the archetypal, I'm in control, in the dressing room, on the pitch, in the car park, at the restaurant.
Could he come to Old Trafford and do that, though?
I think he could. I think it's the Bruno sort of thing.
You think it's a bit like...
I think he just comes in and starts taking over.
Like Zlatan did?
Yeah.
He's just Ramos everywhere.
I think everyone will be like... He just comes in with his medals and says, "I'm what?
All right,
anyone want to say anything? No, okay."
That's a hell of a container.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, yeah, we'll listen to you then. Just comes in with a picture of him and Mo Salah.
That'd be great.
Anything want to add? No.
Anyone want a dislocated shoulder?
Yeah, I'm running.
So who would you go for then? Do you think we need someone more commanding and older, or we are consistently linked with young centre backs?
Yeah, Ramos. I think the club just is. That's what they want to buy. They're on cheaper wages. There's a resale value. Yeah, I think there's a resale value. They're on cheaper wages. And as much as maybe the right thing to do sometimes is maybe a Ramos, I ultimately think Ramos probably wouldn't work in the Prem, especially if we're going to have a high line. I can just see. How many red cards has he got in his career? 30?
Something mental.
Doubling that by the time he leaves United.
Yeah.
Think about him chasing back in a high line with VAR. Where again about it?
Yeah, he loves holding on to people and dragging people down. And
one hammer in someone.
Weird though, it's not weird, but when Bailly is fit, and there was a little, I know it was only brief. What was it, 3 games or something? But we look no. But my point is, when he played alongside Maguire, they look like they were working well together.
Yeah, great.
So if you get someone who's fitter than Bailly, who plays every week, but of a similar ilk, it should work.
Yeah,
because I think we have to face facts as well. No matter what we think about Harry Maguire and the fact that Ollie, can't buy another defender and bring someone else. I don't see him replacing Harry Maguire. No. I don't see him going, I need another defender to replace the one I bought 2 seasons ago.
Harry Maguire is our best centre-back as well.
I know, there's that. I agree with that. And also the fact that I think as a manager, you don't pay 80 million quid for a defender, make him your captain, and then 2 seasons later, replace him.
Well, we're not Pep. We've already established
That's what I mean. That's not going to happen.
Another super chat from JS. He says, thoughts on Maguire's post-match interview yesterday. He's apparently fed up with the criticism of our defence. And Jay think that's pathetic.
Don't listen to post-match interviews. They serve a purpose.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think people dissect him and go outraged at whatever you say. If you come out and go, we were rubbish, people go, look at him there saying we're rubbish, what pathetic. You come out saying we were great. What, is he deluded? He can't win.
Yeah.
And you've got a mic in your face, you're disappointed because you just got a bad result.
You've just run around for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
You've probably had a bit of a fucking row in the changing rooms.
Yeah.
And then some twerp from... And do you know what? We see one of those interviews. You're doing it for Greek TV, Chinese TV, fucking NBC and Sky and BT and BBC. You stand there for hours, and like you've probably watched them, haven't you? When they do it, they're literally there ages. When
I've done a few mix ons before,
and they're bored. And sometimes they might just throw something in to get a bit spicier. But it's nonsense. No one's coming out there.
Sean Dye style.
Yeah, no one's coming out there necessarily and giving you the truth. No one's making a statement here. No. Like, this is whose contractual obligation is it to go out and talk to them today? That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. City put in the actual up. He didn't even speak English at the time. And it was a very short interview. Well, he spoke a little bit of English, but obviously English was better than my foreign language.
Yep. Peter Kelly with the super chat says, it seems there's no communication between our defenders. How many times do we try to play offside and one of the back four is slightly deeper than the others? I don't think we do try and play offside. Ollie's come out and said as much, that we're not trying to play an offside trap. Yeah, obviously, you need to have a line, and if that plays people offside,
no line is no defence, Joe.
But United don't play an offside trap by any means, do we?
I don't think so. What's really interesting, if you go and watch AC Milan from 1989 on YouTube, check it out. You want to go and see some absolute, it's almost comedy how bad these offside traps are. They just kind of like sprint forward.
Yeah.
Like 8 of them.
Does it work?
Well, yeah, but I think VAR probably would not, because there's some really bad linesman decisions. You go, he was onside. That's legit. It's like a third man run from deep. Murdered you.
Bad decisions in Italy.
No comment.
Let's keep moving on this. So we've talked about Wan-Bissaka.
Tancredi Palmer made a serious ass with me once.
When you question the integrity of the Italian league.
Exactly.
We talked about Wan-Bissaka. We've talked about Maguire. Let's talk about the other centre-back option, because Lindelof is someone who...
Phil Jones!
Well, no, because it is Lindelof, isn't it? Or it's Lindelof and Bailly. And Lindelof is almost... His role now has become... Obviously, he plays every week, which people almost seem to forget. But his role seems to be he's the replaceable one. He's the one that's definitely going as soon as we get someone else in. Do you think that is the case?
Yeah, because whether or not you think he's better than Maguire, and honestly, I don't think he is, but it is up for debate. It's certainly not obvious who's certainly not one of them is far away better than the other one. That's not the case. But politics plays a part. Wearing the armband and costing 80 million and being the guy that this manager bought, they're all ticks in your box that he don't have. Like Lindelof sitting there going, well, Ollie didn't buy me. Well, I'm not the captain. I'm also not English. But I'm also not like a record fee. Of course he's the replacement.
I'm also not notably better than, or not obviously better than Maguire. No. I would say isn't better than Maguire.
Yeah.
I think Lindelof's drop-off actually has been quite a lot from a couple of seasons ago. I had him down as one of our best players. Do you know when Ollie took over? I thought that whole season, because one thing he had that Paul Pogba and many people, I know you and Macca were like, Paul Pogba was the player of the season for that season, but Pogba under Jose that season didn't play very well, or didn't play, and then towards the end he drops off a lot. And I thought, in terms of consistency, even under Jose, apart from the Brighton game, I think, where he was dreadful, but the whole team were, he was pretty consistent, and he had a couple of outstanding performances during that, even under Jose against Crystal Palace at home, where he was injured and he carried on playing, and towards the end as well. I thought he was like pretty much 7 out of 10 nearly every game in a team that was very up and down. And now he's nowhere near those levels, I don't think. And that's what disappoints me, because I thought when I looked at him that season, I thought, and he was like 23, 24, he's going to be someone who can be reliable. If he can perform under Jose and under Ollie, we can rely on him in the future. And it's just not happening. And I just think that whilst I agree with you that it's not a massive difference between him and Maguire, I think there's enough of a difference for it to make it, and the politics of it.
Yeah, the politics is real.
To make it.
People don't want to admit that, but the politics in football are well real.
I mean, you look at Ollie, and just by the fact of how much does it undermine you to go, I need another defender, I need more money, and the record signing that I made isn't up to the job. We've not even won anything yet with him as well. It's like it's very difficult to get away with that. So
we do need another centre back, and he probably will come in to replace Lindelof.
I mean, I'd love to say actually Tuanzebe would step up, and I thought at one point
he could have done.
I know it's just injuries.
He could have been the guy that did that, but injuries. He's had a couple of cameos, which is all it's been of late, and he's been awful. Like he's been very bad since. Maybe he's not the guy to come off the bench. Maybe some people just can't get in.
It's a tough job for a centre back to come off the bench. Generally speaking, is it?
No. So maybe when maybe he does a lot of prep. Maybe he needs to do a lot of prep. Maybe he goes, you're starting tomorrow, and he goes, cool, and I'm going to spend all night watching YouTube footage of these strikers.
With my ankles in ice.
Yeah.
Or what?
And maybe that's why I had a good performance against Mbappe, because he told him on a Sunday, Tuesday night you're playing against Mbappe, and he's gone, sweet, I'll watch highlights all night.
Yeah.
That might be a negative for him, that might be a positive for him, but it might be a thing. It might be nothing, I might have just made it up. But it could have been Tuanzebe. He's one of the most natural defenders I've ever seen. And one of the things when I look at this United team, Baye aside, in that defence, none of them are natural defenders. For starters, they've all literally played other positions. Whereas Tuanzebe, Baye, they've got that defender instinct. Like, they'll throw themselves at something last minute and invariably be fairly successful by doing it. You don't see Lindelof and Maguire doing anything last ditch. It just sort of always catches them by surprise a little bit, and you're like, what the fucking hell's going on here, lads? Like, I don't know if they've got that killer instinct in them that I see in Baye and Tuanzebe.
I've got a few super chats. Simon King says, lads, noticed that Rash is on the right a lot more since January. It seems as though Ole's playing him there to facilitate Martial being in the team. What are your thoughts on that? But I mean, I think he's best on the left, and he's our best left winger, so we should play there.
I agree with everything you just said. And I agree with that super chat. I think he is being moved to accommodate Andy Martial, and I don't think Andy Martial is doing enough for me at the minute to make that accommodation worthwhile. And also the fact that Marcus Rashford's just far better on the left than he's on the right. It's just not working. That I think I've said it before. You either play Marcus Rashford on the left or don't play him. And for me, you do play him.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I saw a guy in the comments yesterday going, well, Marcus got 30 minutes on the left and my shit.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Cool.
Ross Murphy with the super chat, he says, I like Maguire when we signed him. He was better than the defenders we had to play. The problem is that we gave him the captaincy too early, and he needs a better partner next to him. I'd have Lindelof as a squad player.
Again, this applies for all players and all clubs, if we're being real. Like, we don't know what the mental impact of this lockdown is. I mean, all of us hate it.
Yeah.
And we're not dealing with the added pressure of also still having to play for Manchester United, but without some of the things that maybe make it... maybe you can get to blow off a little bit of steam celebrating with fans, like, because I don't think any of us can fully understand the pressure of playing football. And now the pressure's not gone away, but maybe some of the releases that you needed have gone away. Maybe that's something that's happened with Marshall, because his drop-off's inexplicable.
Mason as well.
Mason, similar. So, like, I'm not excusing these. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and throw some possibilities up. But it's for all clubs. We've seen, there might be some players that are mad suffering with, like, real, like, mental problems dealing with lockdown. Harry Maguire might still be dealing with mental problems of what happened in Greece. Like...
That's a fair comment. I know you sort of, smiling, but you don't know. I mean, he got nicked. His family were involved as well. He's obviously a lot of pressure. Because of the England connection, the whole world was watching him.
Yeah.
And, regardless of whether you think he's to blame for that or not, it's still going to have affected him.
You better believe, if I'm a millionaire and I'm getting arrested, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I have money.
It's it's obviously something, and you could see how he was when he did that interview. That and his early performances this season were just amongst his worst.
Yeah, definitely.
So it obviously played on his mind. So yeah, I think that, it's something that is worth considering, and I think it's too easy to dismiss it. And the old thing of, well, they earn this much money, they should be able to deal with it. And I get, there's nurses and stuff that have got to deal with it. I get that, but if you're suffering, you're suffering.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Regardless of how much money or how other people have worse things to deal with, it's still your reality.
Yeah. Saran Bala says, is the need of a centre-back more important than a right winger now? I still think we're in serious need of a proper right winger. We also do have the new Messi and Ahmad. I think we're trying to fill the right wing spot. I still do think there's a marquee signing to come there. I
don't think we're doing it, though.
You don't think we're going to get one?
No, although... There was some talk, wasn't there, over the weekend that the price on Sancho now might be 50 million.
No chance.
Yeah, if that's the case, United have played a blinder.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's the case, though.
He's going to be at least 80 million, I think, still.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on then. We've done the right back, we've done the centre backs, we've done the goalkeeper. Left back is the next up.
See in a bit.
No, we can talk about it because Luke Shaw, for me, was probably the player in that squad at the start of the season that I would have looked at as, we need a replacement here above anyone else, to be honest. Whereas this season, he's been much better going forward. He's got, I think, the most assists of any fullback in the league this season.
No.
This year,
certainly in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, in a month and a half.
Well, it's still 5 assists in that time, which is very good in a month for any position. He's much better going forward. His numbers reflecting that. The only thing is, I still don't think he's the best defensive centre back, fullback. But then you look at Wan-Bissaka, who arguably is certainly one-on-one the best fullback I've ever seen at United, I would say.
No, I'm going to say the best at one-to-one.
One-on-one, that's what,
tackling.
One-on-one. I don't think his defensive position is necessarily the best, or it certainly isn't. But certainly his defensive attributes are better than his attacking attributes. So it's hard to get both. You look at someone like Trent, though, who's got the record, and I think he's got the top 2 records for most assists from a fullback in the Premier League. He's terrible defensively. The way
And
Sterling
also this
just
season,
walked
he's
past
another one
him.
who's, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but he's another one who's almost fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
He's giving the
But the
ball
way-
away more than anyone. I
the way-
think 3 games in the trot or something.
Yeah.
I think he's
or
the
3 of the top 5
I think
games.
he's the top 3 of the top 5 most lost possessions.
Yeah,
in the
which
games.
for him, a player that was at such a high level,
Yeah.
and it might go back to what you were saying, Steve, that some players are just struggling to cope with what's going on.
Yeah, but again, he's got the record for the most assists, and he holds 2 season records for that.
Yeah.
So he's obviously exceptional going forward. However you want to attribute it, whether it's a lot of crosses, whatever you want to do, it's hard to have a player that is world class going forward and world class defensively, and there are very few examples of that. So for me, the fact that Luke Shaw does look much better going forward, still not the best in the world, that has lowered, I think, our need for another left back. And with Tellez being in the squad as well, someone who's also good going forward and maybe not quite so good defensively, I'm
I
not
don't
quite
know
as
if it's
keen on a
come
left
with
back
Tellez,
as
though, because when I've
I
watched
was.
him, defensively, I think he's fine.
Do you think,
I don't think he's
there's
the
a
Against
little
West Ham,
question
he got
marks, yeah.
pulled apart
Was it
against
Bowen?
West Ham.
Okay, but again, is that a no fucker knows their job in the defence? Whose man really was it? Because that was a lot of nonsense going on there.
Well,
I'm
there
not
was a lot of
100%
nonsense,
sure it
but
was his man.
But he's part of that nonsense.
Yeah.
And he,
Oh no, I'm not talking about reason. I mean, I'm sorry. I was talking about the London Stadium when he just went past him.
No,
like
that's
it
what I
was-
mean.
oh, yeah.
Not the game
Yeah.
just now.
Yeah.
The game earlier in the season when Tellez played in that game, and we almost lost it. We had to come from behind to win it.
Okay.
West Ham away.
Where Mason got his Premier League goal. I think it's his only Premier League goal this season. Pogba scored that from the edge of the box.
Yeah,
It
the
went out
Pogba-
over Moyes' head. The ball went over Moyes' head.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
game. But
Yeah.
Tellez, like at one point, I was
First
like,
half, West Ham were making loads of chances, and
Yeah.
a lot of it was Bowen down Tellez's side.
and I was. I
mean-
feel so bad when I had, like, I think it was you that said the other day when he went off and you were like, it's dead leg, like don't panic, because everyone was like,
It wasn't even a dead leg.
what was it not? Because everyone was like, when I saw that, mate, I felt like I did when what's his name, Calvert-Lewin scored that goal against us, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so seeing that Ethan Led's getting some games, keeping himself fit, because he's had, I think it's always like worse when you're that age as well, when you're 17, 18, 19.
You need
keep
those
getting,
development
yeah,
games,
and you keep getting, it's not
A
so bad when
career
you're
can just
24 or
end.
whatever. Yeah.
Career can just end then. Look at the likes of Will Keane. Will Keane was sensational.
Oh, mate.
And then injury.
Bad injuries as well, wasn't
it? Injury. And it just never happened for him.
Do you know what the bad thing? I know the bad thing is about being horrible. It's probably works out better. But Van Gaal gives him that chance, doesn't he? Do you remember? And his knee went, and then obviously that gives Marcus a chance. But that's why Marcus ended up with it, because people
Well,
always going
Marcus
about
was not in it,
Martial, but it was Will Keane who was like got the injury the week.
Will
before.
Keane, did he score 5 like a couple of weeks before?
Yeah, in what?
Something,
in the
23s.
Yeah, I think he did.
And people are like, there we go, debut. And Van Gaal's like, there we go,
Yeah.
debut. And he's like, nope, knee's gone.
Sorry about that. The computer crashed, sir, but we're back now. I think what happened is we were talking about Luke Shaw, and Steve got a bit edgy and pulled out the plug, so we had to start again. Do you think we need a left
You
back?
even saying that, some people are going to believe that.
Well, there's
a lot of fucking
Steve's
idiots.
there. He didn't unplug anything. Do you think we need, Jay? Do you think we need a new left back, or is that lower down the list of your priorities
It's-
after we've now got Tellez?
I still
and
do.
The fact that
but
Luke
I
Shaw's
don't think
improved.
it's a priority.
Yeah.
I don't at the moment. I don't think it. I think it's so far down my list that it's almost inconsequential.
almost,
if I'm
don't
being
worry about
honest, I think I've got.
It's like a
I've-
left winger.
Yeah, I've got.
Yeah.
There's
Maybe,
like
but no.
6 other positions I'm more concerned about at the minute
And-
than left back.
Steve, obviously, whatever you've spoken before that you do think that Luke Shaw has improved going forward. And I think that's, I mean, it's undeniable.
Steve,
isn't it? It's
obviously,
his best return.
whatever.
No, but what you've said stuff about Shaw in the past, whatever. Don't get into that. What I would like to know though, just
To be
for,
fair, we just had the man with that froze. We just had a real reasoned discussion about it without anything overly dramatic.
Yeah,
And
and
now
it's
like-
probably gone.
It's gone.
So you fucked it. Just keep saying I've got an agenda.
not focusing on his weaknesses, which I think we can all agree are still there. He has got better going forward. What do you put that down to? Why do you think he's got better going forward?
I don't know, because last season, was it a Villa game? One of the first handful of games or so post-lockdown. He actually had a good game. But for about 3 weeks before that, everyone was fucking touching himself, talking
talk
about
damn him
how well
faint
he'd
praise.
played. And I was like, I don't see it here. Now, without getting anyone in the shit here, I also talk to people who play with him. And a lot of my thoughts on him are obviously shaped by people who play with him.
But putting that to one side, you watch
Play
football.
with him, not play instead of him.
You're
I know what
watching
people are thinking.
Right. You're watching these games, and are you saying to yourself, all right, he's getting to a level nearer where he needs to be? Well, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Maybe I have got a prejudice of games because I don't see ever any sort of consistency from him. I see these little spurts.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it comes from like, I played with people that would get a deal or a move or something like that, and then they would fucking toss it off the way Shaw's done. And I also hear things from people at the club, about some of what he's been like off the pitch, and maybe it's tough for me to shake that side of him because I find it very fucking hard to like players that I think are tossing their careers away. Obvious talent that's just not having it.
Do you think? I think as well, and I haven't really got a dog in a fight. I think Luke Shaw's having a good season. I do. I've been quite critical of him in the past.
I haven't got a dog in a fight.
Yeah.
The only dog I've got is Manchester United.
I know, all right, fair
and
enough.
I just want Manchester United.
I haven't nailed I haven't sort of the cliche, but I haven't come up with like I'm pro Luke Shaw. I'm critical of him. I think he's having a good season. In the past, I think he needed to do more. This season, I think he's playing quite well. My only thing I would say about it is I much prefer him working with just one sec down the left with Marcus. I think there's a partnership there. And it annoys me because I think Marcus offers him a bit of protection that he needs. Marcus grafts, and I think he needs someone alongside him.
Do you know what you just said?
And he plays balls that Marcus gives him a ball and says, get on the end of that. Yeah. And I think he needs that sometimes. And it annoys me when you swap in, putting Martial on the left, because you're not getting that all the time from Andy Martial, and Marcus is over on the right where he's not as effective. It upsets everything for me, including, and I know it sounds crackers, the left back.
Yeah. What you just said, he's playing quite well. I'm with you.
Yeah.
The problem is I'm seeing people saying he's the best fullback in the league or like he's world class and stuff, and I go, that's when I have to push back and go, that's objectively bullshit.
Do you not think that an element to that though is that, as we've discussed, some of the other players, I know we were talking about Trent as a right back, but Andy Robertson, for example, has not fallen off a cliff.
Still having a better season than Luke Shaw.
There's a level, levels have dropped a little bit.
I think Luke Shaw's just fucking levelled up with him in terms of assists. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is I don't think people watch enough of other football.
Chilwell been dropped, Annie, from Chelsea.
And still 5 assists and 4 goals.
That's
or
what
6
I mean.
assists and 4 goals.
There's not like a standout left back this season where you go, it's Robertson.
Oh, it is. It's Luca Dean, and he's fucking top, and he's better at both. And it's the same with Cancelo. Cancelo's maybe the best fullback in the league.
Cancelo, I've been more with you, but I don't know about. I mean, Luca Dean, all right, he's having a decent season, but I don't know if he's like. He's clear. He's clearly hit.
He is clear.
I like both of those players. Moving on, and our final topic before we go, because I think this is a massive part of the defence, and it's something I've said for.
Is it the jam or the cream on a scone?
No, and who cares if you're from?
It matters that.
No, it doesn't. People from Cornwall want the jam first. People from Devon want the cream first. It doesn't matter, and you don't even care. That's what I'd say. You pretend to care because it's in your little guidebook that tourists buy. No one gives a shit. Put the cream on. Put the butter on the top for all I give a shit. Right. I think our defensive midfield area...
First time I've ever seen you get angry about it.
It does my head in that. Or we pretend to care about cream and jam on a scone. If you actually care about that, get a life.
Someone there, Digamba says, why do I need to push back? Because I'm not just going to let people talk bollocks.
Interesting.
That's why I have to feel the need to push back. If you go, like Jay said, he's playing... pretty good this season. I go, yeah, he is playing pretty good. But when people go, he's the best left back in the world, I go, let's have a chat. Come on, let's fucking get your head out your ass.
Let's talk about defensive midfield, because I think that Fred is arguably going through his worst patch of form in about 2 years at the moment. He's just consistently giving the ball away over and over and over again. McTominay's improved going forward a little bit, but our best defensive midfielder, I think, still is Matic when he can put it together, but he can't put it together as often because he's getting on a bit. I think if we had one of two types of central defensive midfielder.
Set him off.
Either a Carrick type or a Kante type, whichever way Ollie wants to go with it.
It's all Niguez.
Whatever. How much difference do you
touch
think?
the tips together,
let's
Joe.
say Salno goes because he's the one you want to talk about.
Oh,
It's
really?
been so bad for years.
Never really entered my head. To be
But
honest.
how much difference would he make? And could he be even more of a priority, or someone of that ilk be more of a priority than a centre back? Because for me, our defensive midfield, positionally, when Matic isn't playing, is all over the place.
What Sol Niguez would allow you to do is it allow you to have an upgrade on McTominay because there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. And I know loads of people in the comments are going, he's not a number 6. Neither was Carrick, but he is, and he was. And I think he could do that job. But certainly, like, it depends on what sort of midfield United are going to get, because this is a pivotal moment now. Are United going to get a 6?
Indeedy.
Yeah, and that's what people think of, like, because
Josh Scully's
Kante and Ndidi and Partey to an extent have sort of shaped their own position, very much like Makelele did. And if you don't have that, you're not at it. Well, guess what? United never had that. They had Michael Carrick.
Yeah.
And he was not that. He was not your energetic, fucking kill everything sort of destroyer midfielder. You can hold possession with another midfielder instead and recycle possession better. And that's what I would like to see from United. So I would go with Saul. I don't know if I've ever said that. That might come as a shock.
I know you like him, but how important do you think
Well,
that position
having
is?
one, because at the moment we play 2, which limits our creative options going forward. If you can get the right one, and I don't know if Saul is, I'd just fucking rate him and I'd just find a way to fit him in. But if you could get, let's say Saul, and you wanted Bruno, because there's a lot of talk about Grealish still, and it might be bollocks, because we obviously wanted him, and I still don't have a fucking clue where he was going to fit him in.
No.
So maybe the way we're holding possession more was that there was an evolution of how we were going to change in terms of a style of play. Because I really racked my brain and gone, I don't fucking know where he fits. I really don't. I don't know where he fits in alongside Bruno. You know, and people was like, I don't know how Pogba and Bruno fit together. Well, they fit together a million times better than Grealish and Bruno are gonna.
Yeah.
So, and I do think Pogba's gone, by the way.
Well, that's another point to add on to this, isn't it? That not only are we dealing with essentially without Matic because he's on the way out in terms of fitness and age, we're also most likely going to be without Paul Pogba next season, who's arguably one, I would say, our best midfielder this season.
I think we missed him
brilliant
yesterday
now.
hugely.
Yeah.
Because he'd have been shooting from range and that might have yielded something.
You say he's better? Would you class him better than Bruno this season?
Bruno's an attacker to me. I know he's not a
Alright,
striker,
okay,
but
'cause
he's in the
sorry,
18-yard
when you
box
said our
more
best,
than
fair enough, I
Rashford
just
or
thought-
Marshall. Yeah.
I think Pogba's having a good season. If you class him Bruno as an attacker,
No.
I get where you're coming from.
I think
'Cause
someone like Saul
for me, Bruno's been
allows
Yeah,
you
of
to
course,
play
definitely.
one player for 2 positions currently that we use. So we have to play 2 positions because neither of them are proper starters. Saul's a world-class midfielder.
Yeah.
And that sometimes a world-class midfielder can just do it on his own, especially when he's playing around other world-class players. Now, you want to hold possession, he'll do that. If you had another Paul Pogba or another Paul
Donny,
Pogba,
maybe?
I'm not sure it's him.
Right.
But yes, let's pretend it's him. You've got someone that can play off him a little bit. You're gonna hold those 2 would hold possession infinitely better than you would see with Fred and McTominay.
Yeah.
And you've still got McTominay, and I think he's still got a lot. Like let's say you go to City or you go to Anfield, you play Saul alongside McTominay. Now you've got a fucking
Or
tasty-looking midfield.
If
haven't
you've got a more energetic but not quite as big team, you know, maybe someone like West Ham, Sol and Fred could work great against a team.
How,
like that.
that's
how,
what you
how
wanna see.
realistic is that as a target?
Oh, fuck knows, 1%.
1%.
I just like it.
No, I'm not. I'm
But
just curious because it's
it
like
works as a sort of a style of player as well, doesn't it?
Because
Yeah,
I think
go
like you're looking at certain players. We've been linked with a few similar-ish.
Yeah.
I know I use the word ish, like Declan Rice or Didi maybe. I just wondered how
For the money that you're going to pay for Rice, you can get Niguez. And for me, there's no comparison in terms of the level that these are as footballers. But again, like, there was clearly something in Grealish. There was clearly something in Haaland. But guess what? You'll get one of them, not all 3.
Yeah.
But that's arguably what this team needs, is probably needs a centre-half. And, you know, that you might get away with getting a Ramos if you go, right, we'll get Ramos this year. We'll keep our eyes out for who we can get in a couple of years. It also, maybe lets Mengi mature a little bit. Apparently, he's playing tomorrow against Wickham.
Great.
Switch.
Before we go quickly, what
he messaged, just saying, I'd say this, we did a switch, me and my baggers the other day, and he messaged me to find out who they were playing next, rather than Googling it.
No, I was messaging him to see if he played.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, rather than googling it. Sorry.
And while I was on,
yeah,
I was
he's
like,
like, I'll just message him. I was like, why don't we just Google it? No, I'll message him.
Busy.
He got his reply straight away as well.
Yeah, quicker than it took Alex to Google it.
Balex.
Balex.
It's Balex.
Balex
Have you got that super chat, by the way?
Yeah, super chat from Juan Martinez. It says, Luke Shaw has improved, but people talk like he went from a 7 to a 10, when in fact he's gone from a 4 to a 7. Ed, by Neves and Traore.
Yeah, said that the other day. Give me £100 million, I'll go to Wolves and I'll come back with Adama Traore, who never does weights, and Neves, and I think you've got a mega improved team. And again, Neves or Niguez, yeah, I'll take the one you don't want. How about that? Because both of them work for me.
Yeah, both very good players, and I definitely think we need someone in that position. Right, thank you to everyone at home for joining us. All of these podcasts are available on whichever platform you like.
I ain't finished yet, Joe.
Oh, go on
You
then.
give me them two, and I'll take fucking Mings at centre half. You give me them two. If that's what I can have.
Get out.
You can have two belters, but you've got to have someone a bit as your third. I'll do that. I'll go Neves, Traore, and Mings. Fuck it.
I'll take Mings.
Really?
No.
I
think
And guess what? Gets his fucking head on that.
I
Like
think
Lindelof
he's very
fucking
limited.
bombed
Yeah, but
it
so
for
does Chris
yesterday.
Smalling.
Let's just add
What
more
we're going to do, so
frustration
does
as you know.
Fellaini.
You're just going to make more. You're just going to be angrier at the end of every game, because now it's going to be like fucking Mings.
Yeah.
Fucking Joe the Red here with fucking Chris Smalling. Stop it. Get out.
I think Chris Smalling was a good player.
I think.
I'd take Chris Smalling over. I'd take Chris Smalling over
Fellaini
Taro
was a
Mings.
good
Let me
player.
tell you that right
Chris
now.
Smalling dislocated his hip trying to fucking pass it 5 yards.
Yes,
I'd say Chris Smalling over Taro.
Yeah, me too.
No,
Before
I'm
we
not a
go,
big
also,
Mings fan.
we are on Clubhouse, which is a new app where we get to chat to people. It's an audio-only platform, no sponsor or anything, but we're just trying to make some stuff for there, and it's a great way to get in touch with us and chat to us and listen to a bit more of the sort of inside story of what goes on at Stretford Paddock. So make sure you check us out on Clubhouse. We'll be there tonight at 8 p.m. Also, again, thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring the video. Their new cologne is out now, refined, great smell, fantastic. Get 20% off and free shipping at checkout at manscaped.com using the code DEVILS20. That's DEV. DEV-ILS. Fuck off, Jay. DEV-ILS20 at checkout. Make sure you check Manscaped stuff out. Really good stuff. And thank you to them for sponsoring. Thank you very much for joining us, Steve. Thank you for joining us, Jay.
Don't forget as well.
Go on.
To check out Scotty and Motty. I mean, our kid David Scott will be back on it tonight, I think.
Disgusting.
Oh, what time you on?
Well, we're going to do a pre-record, so I'll post it about 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. That's a late one, that. Well, you always like posting them late.
Well, we do them late because of the kids. We have to wait till all our children have gone to bed. There's 6 children between us.
All right. Me and Joe are joined by Rio and Ravel Morrison. And I swear to God,
Tasty.
he might have cried. I'm not sure, but it got fucking emotional. I'm not even kidding. It got properly emotional when he was talking about some stuff. It might be the best podcast I've ever been on.
Where's that?
It'd be on 5 with Rio Ferdinand, so it's FIVE. Just put Rio 5 and see it. It's meant to be released very, very soon, but they're editing the fuck out of it. At the
Well, what
moment.
was it like? Is Rio quite protective of him, or what's it? Because I was the contradictory statements about or
Put it
stories
this way,
about
there was-
the way them two were.
There was some stuff
conflicted is the word
that's
I was
been
looking
said
for.
that's been edited out.
Okay.
So
As is the case with a lot of things that everyone watches. Isn't
yeah,
it?
so there's been stuff that's been edited. He's about to sign for a club. Obviously, no one wants to jeopardise that or anything
No,
like that.
of course.
So, fucking belting podcast. Rio goes, I text 2 managers. What a treat this is, by the way. He goes, I text 2 managers and said, and I like this, I'm going to start doing this. Give me 5 words on. And he said, Chris Wilder, give him some. And it was like fucking genius, enigmatic, humble, and frustrating, and something else. And he goes, that was really interesting. He put it to him, like, would you agree with that? And he's like, yeah, I would agree with that. And he sounded like he was pretty gutted. You know, he felt honoured that a Premier League team in Sheffield United came for him. And he was disappointed it never worked out. He said he really enjoyed the team. It was a good team, and he wanted to try and play more than he did. And then he said he texted Fergie and said, give me 5 words on Ravel Morrison. He says, sent me about 100.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
but he's got a really good story on there. So Fergie tells him about this, and he said, Fergie goes, give a debut to a lot of players. No shit. And he said, only one of them wrote me a letter afterwards. Ravel Morrison. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
So do not fucking miss it. It's going to be out. Usually we upload it at 5 because it's called 5. But Will's editing it still, so it'll be out in the next couple of hours.
Looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, it's very, very good. Put it this way: if you don't watch it tonight, you'll see it in all the papers in the morning. So.
You'll see it either way. Right, thanks again for joining us, lads. Thank you for joining us at home. Again, check out this podcast in audio form as well. It's on all of Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts, so make sure you check it out there. And we'll see you in a bit.